For the past 3 decades, the global financial community followed one absolute consensus: the unstoppable, generational rise of the Chinese consumer. Driven by an unprecedented real estate supercycle, hundreds of millions of urban households watched their net worth multiply year after year. It was an economic miracle built on tangible wealth, driving the growth strategies of multinational corporations from New York to Paris. But over the last 36 months, a silent, historic tectonic shift has taken place. An estimated $10 trillion in domestic household wealth has quietly evaporated from the balance sheets of the Chinese middle class. This capital did not vanish in a spectacular, Wall Street-style stock market crash, nor did it disappear during a sudden, panicked run on commercial banking institutions. Instead, it eroded silently, locked away inside the crumbling valuations of the single largest asset class on planet Earth, Chinese residential real estate. This is not a simplistic story about a sudden, catastrophic collapse. Rather, it is a sober, data-driven investigation into a massive structural mutation. We are witnessing a balance sheet recession that is fundamentally rewriting the operational rules of global trade, reshaping international supply chains, and shifting the trajectory of the world's second-largest economy. To fully comprehend where this massive mountain of wealth went, we must first dissect how it was structurally constructed in the first place. In Western developed economies, personal wealth is traditionally diversified across multiple pillars. In the United States, for example, residential real estate accounts for roughly 25 to 30% of an average household's total net worth. The remainder of the capital is distributed across liquid equities, index funds, retirement accounts, and private insurance instruments. In China, this structural landscape was completely inverted. Due to a historically volatile domestic stock market and strict capital controls, restricting citizens from transferring capital into overseas markets, residential property became the single, undisputed vehicle for capital preservation. For the Chinese middle class, buying an apartment was never merely about acquiring a place to live. It was treated as a high-yield savings account, a localized retirement fund, and a generational wealth anchor, all rolled into one. At the absolute peak of the expansion era, nearly 70% of all Chinese household wealth was tied directly to bricks, mortar, and concrete. This monumental creation of household wealth was heavily dependent on financial leverage. Millions of young middle-class families willingly took on substantial 30-year mortgages based on one fundamental, unshakable psychological assumption: that property prices would always outpace inflation, and that the local state apparatus would always backstop the market to prevent a downturn. For more than 2 decades, this grand mechanism functioned flawlessly, lifting household sentiment. But underneath the surface, it created a profound, systemic vulnerability. When an entire nation's collective balance sheet is over-allocated into a single asset class, any downward repricing triggers an immediate, mathematically devastating wealth destruction. When regulators introduced the strict borrowing limits, known as the 3 red lines, to forcefully deleverage overextended developers, the property engine slowed down. According to institutional metrics and recent macroeconomic data, average housing prices across major metropolitan areas have adjusted significantly from their historic peaks. But here lies the exact financial mechanism of the wealth erasure, a phenomenon economists refer to as the liquidity lock. Unlike publicly traded corporate stocks or government bonds, you cannot liquidate a 2-bedroom residential apartment at the click of a digital button during a market correction. As property transaction volumes dropped to historic lows across primary markets, millions of middle-class families found themselves trapped. They were holding assets that were rapidly depreciating on paper, but remained completely illiquid in reality. They could not sell their property to reclaim cash without accepting severe, wealth-slashing discounts that would instantly wipe out their entire life savings. This pervasive illiquidity triggers a profound psychological chain reaction, the negative wealth effect. Even if a middle-class family has absolutely no immediate intention of selling their primary home, the sharp perception of paper wealth loss fundamentally alters their day-to-day economic behavior. When an individual looks at the market data and realizes their apartment has decreased in valuation by 20 or 30%, they instantly feel poorer. Their long-term financial security feels compromised. The immediate unavoidable casualty of this collective psychological shift is domestic consumer spending. This negative wealth effect explains the deep economic paradox currently visible inside the domestic retail market. Consumer credit is cheap, interest rates are sitting at historic lows, yet retail demand remains structurally soft. Western financial analysts frequently misinterpret this phenomenon as a simple, mechanical lack of liquidity. They assume Chinese consumers have run out of money, but the hard macroeconomic data reveals a completely different reality. Domestic household bank savings and deposits have actually surged to record all-time highs over the past 24 months. The middle class is not entirely out of financial resources. They are actively and deliberately changing their fundamental relationship with debt and risk. What the global markets are observing is a textbook manifestation of a balance sheet recession. When a severe asset correction occurs, asset values on the left side of the household balance sheet contract rapidly. However, the liabilities on the right side, the fixed long-term mortgage debt, remain exactly the same. Overnight, the household's net worth shrinks, leaving them exposed. To repair their damaged personal balance sheets, families shift their entire psychological focus. They stop borrowing money, and they aggressively stop spending on discretionary items. Every single excess yuan generated from their salary is directed toward one single, defensive goal: paying down their existing mortgage debt ahead of schedule and hoarding liquid cash inside ultra-safe, low-yield state bank accounts. This defensive economic posture creates a highly restrictive, self-reinforcing economic loop. As millions of middle-class consumers simultaneously cut discretionary consumption to pay down debt, corporate revenues across the nation begin to contract. In response, corporations cut costs, the employment market tightens, and wage growth flattens out. The rational defensive strategy that makes perfect sense for an individual household ultimately becomes a collective, structural drag on the broader macroeconomy. Why does the silent erosion of Chinese middle-class wealth matter so intensely to a global investor or a US observer? Because for the last decade, the global growth strategies of Western multinational corporations were built on one core corporate assumption: the endless expansion of a high-spending Chinese middle class, hungry for premium products. From luxury retail conglomerates in Paris to consumer technology giants in Silicon Valley, Western firms that relied heavily on this market as their primary engine of marginal revenue growth are being forced to adapt to a permanent structural deceleration. The modern Chinese consumer is no longer trading up to expensive, premium Western brands. Instead, they are aggressively optimizing for value, migrating toward highly competitive domestic alternatives, or simply choosing to delay major purchases altogether. Furthermore, to offset this weak domestic consumer demand, capital is being systematically redirected away from the real estate sector and poured directly into advanced industrial manufacturing. This strategic pivot is sending a massive wave of highly competitive, lower-cost industrial exports into the global market. This influx of manufacturing capacity is reshaping international supply chains, intensifying global trade tensions, and forcing Western central banks to reconsider their long-term monetary and tariff policies. The $10 trillion erased from the real estate market was not just a temporary correction in property prices. It represents the closing chapter of an entire economic era. The old model of effortless wealth accumulation through real estate speculation, has permanently reached its limit. What emerges in its place is a highly disciplined, structurally transformed economy focused on industrial technology, supply chain self-reliance, and systemic risk mitigation. Understanding this post-property era is no longer optional for the international community. It is the foundational key to decoding the future of global capital. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to China After the Boom for more sober, data-driven macro analysis. See you in our next deep dive.